Version 1.2 live stream for Once Human has some great information. It's over an hour and 20 minutes long, so unless you have a laundry list of tasks to do, you probably don't have the time to listen to it. But I do because I've got dishes, I've got laundry, and I've got to watch my kids try to electrocute themselves. And usually I do stop them. So today we're going to be talking about the live stream, all the things that you need to know about version 1.2. We're going to be talking about the way of the winter and what we know about that, including a few things that were really hinted at heavily. We're going to be talking about the new Prism versus Clash, and we're going to be talking about a few new things coming to Once Human with version 1.2, including Asmongold and Summit 1G. So let's get into it. Let's start talking about some of the exciting things that are becoming to the game. Let's just jump into the big thing here, and that would be the new scenario that's coming, or the season that's coming, and that would be Prism versus Clash. So this would be a PvP scenario where basically players are tasked with fighting each other. There's two factions, and one faction would be the Mayfly faction, which is more of Wanderers. It's sort of that like rogue faction, and then you've got the other faction which would be Rosetta. This would be sort of the typical corporate faction. So these are two factions. You got to pick one. They're going to be fighting each other. If you're worried about one faction being more popular than the other, don't, because there are some balancing mechanics that have been added to this system. If you're on the unpopular team, you can actually still get a win just because of those balancing aspects. In addition to that, you will get some bonuses if you're one of the top players for your faction, even if your faction doesn't win. And there's no one that's going to know. You're not going to be called a loser later on. It's not going to be like we see you with less gear and think this person's a loser. No, no, no. Don't feel self-conscious whatsoever. There's people like me who are just losers in general. So you have us beat at least. Now, moving on. Let's keep talking about this because there is some cool information that was dropped. So, first off, this is something that you want to jump into on September 26th, which is when it's launching. If you jump in here, what's going to happen is when the Way of Winter launches, that's going to be on October 17th, you'll be able to jump right into that. So, if you're not into PvP, this is a good time to actually try it. You can try out PvP, and if you don't like it, you can just sit back and relax. You can do something else. You can touch grass or yourself. Then you can jump right into Way of Winter when it launches on October 17th. We're going to be getting into some stuff on that later, including some information about weapons. So first, let's talk about the rest of the details that we know about this. So for Prism Energy, you're going to be capturing deviants. And this chart right here shows you how all of that works. Deviants that you can capture for Prism Energy are the Electric Eel, the Digby Boy, and the Lodging Beaver, the Space Turner, Upper World Spawn, Extra Dimensional Cat, the Grumpy Bulb, Dr. Teddy, Mr. Wish, the Berserkosaurus Rex, and the Radiant One. These last two are new ones, by the way. And you can see here there's Prism Energy that's allocated to all of these different deviants. The two big ones being the Berserkosaurus Rex and the Radiant One. And you can acquire them from a bunch of different things. So you can just look at this map. You can see you can acquire some from fishing. Some can only be acquired from public crisis events, and some you need to go to the dark side to get. There's a bunch of different information there. So you can just pause the video and look at that. Also, I'm going to have a video that's going to launch going over all these details on the start of the event. So let's jump back into my notes and go over some other stuff that I did find interesting. If you're wondering, yeah, I did actually take notes on this. I'm a bit of a geek, and I realized that having field notes is a much better way to do things when you're reporting on news in a 1 hour long dev blog. Next up, there's different rules for deviant securement. I'm going to post just the chart showing all that and how that works, but it's sort of pretty straightforward. You basically capture them, bring them back to your territory, and wait on a timer. And next up, the deviants are going to spawn during different phases. So some of those hard to capture deviants are only going to be spawning in sort of the last phases. But overall, it looks like this is pretty cool. And if you're interested in this event, you can actually sign up right now. And the way character creation and pulling them all over works is something for another video, but don't worry too much about all of that. Just know that get everything done in your world, and then you're going to be moving over. You're going to you're going to lose your levels. You can bring some stuff with us, and that's pretty cool. Also, do note that you cannot leave an event early. The reason for this is because they basically, this stops things from getting unbalanced because you get this scenario where you get a PvP thing and one faction starts losing and people start bailing, and now all of a sudden you're in this PvP thing with a faction that's at half strength, and it really sucks. It's probably going to happen anyways, if we're being honest. And most of you are PvE players, and I don't blame you because I like the PvE aspect too. I've got kids, a family, I like to touch the grass every now and then. Sometimes I smoke it, and actually, it's been like years, but sometimes I do plan to get back to that hobby. So now let's jump into Way of Winter because I imagine this is what a lot of people want to know about. So I'm trying to put all that stuff in the front so you can bail out whatever. Next up, Way of Winter. That launches October 17th. It's PvE. Way of Winter, it's more about sort of hardcore survival and working with the players around you. At least that's what's been hinted at. Also, Way of Winter. Winter generally isn't known as this time when you can get a bunch of crops and everything's comfy dozy. Actually, it is pretty like comfy inside if you got a fireplace and all that stuff going, but I imagine this isn't going to be one of those games. Next up, we do know that Way of Winter is going to introduce some new weapons. And if you're wondering why it's taking longer for Way of Winter to launch, the devs did confirm that PvE scenarios or seasons typically take longer for them to develop than PvP things. This could also be why we're seeing more of a push towards PvP content, if you're wondering about that. Next up, let's start talking about some of the other cool things that were announced in this because there is a lot. Also, if you're wondering about codes, you can get codes and enter them in game and get free stuff. So they're just down below. Don't worry about that if you probably know them. Anyways, let's talk about stuff. First off, the gender changeability, it is something that's going to be coming. So if you want to be a transsexual alien that was converted in prison illegally or as an illegal immigrant, I don't know, whatever Trump said, if you want to role play that character, eventually it's going to be possible. There is lag optimization that's coming at the end of October, so look forward to that. More furniture options are going to be added, which makes sense because this is a pretty cool game. It's like Rust, but it's more PvE focused, more role playing focused. I love it. Next up, for those of you on console, there is hope, but not too much of it. There is a version that's planned, but it doesn't really sound like they're doing too much work on it. Whether it's going to be for last gen, next gen, this gen, who really knows at this point? My guess is definitely for this current gen. So if you get an Xbox Series or PlayStation 5, you're good to go. If you're on last gen, I think it still could be coming out for that because there's a mobile version that's being released. They're testing it right now. It's for iOS and Android. And if this thing can run on a smartphone, it should be able to run on your 10-year-old box. And if you're looking to upgrade that box, there's also good news for you. There's a $1,500 prize pool for scenario ideas. So this is actually really cool. And some games do this, but not many do it. I love the fact that they're doing this early on. So you can submit scenarios to the team, and they're going to be giving you cash prizes if you submit a good enough scenario, and you might even see it in game. So if you're looking to upgrade from an Xbox to maybe a PC, great. I know some people are going to be upset about that, but let's face it, it's an upgrade at this point, 2024. I think we all realize the console wars are long gone, and the PC came out victorious. It always was. But yeah, basically, there's this whole scenario submission process where you can go through, give your idea for a scenario, and if your idea is selected, you'll actually get a cash prize, which is really cool. They're not just giving you skins like some games do; they're giving you prizes in cash, USD. You can use those to buy skins or food to feed your family because in these trying times, everybody needs money. I mean, it's rough out there. Do you know how much I paid for a bag of Doritos? My left kidney doesn't because it's gone. So, anyways, let's keep moving on to some of the other stuff that's gonna help take your mind away from these trying times. Hmm. They've added new vehicle skins that you can. Now, they did add a new vehicle skin. They're also adding a katana. They're just showing here some new cool things that they added. They're adding more abilities for breeding and taming. So, first off, you're going to be able to breed. And with taming, you're now going to be able to tame the capybara, a flamingo, and a leopard, which is pretty cool for those of you who like taming. I haven't really played with it too much, but it's cool to see them working on it for whenever I get around to it. The Eternal Land now has will have a recommendation system, which means you can like other people's Eternal Lands, and then those Eternal Lands will be shown to more and more people. Also, remember, if you put something a little toxic in your land, they can still ban you for it, even if you get 69 likes. Next up, there is Twitch drops that are coming. Those are being coming from September 26th to the 16th. These are drops you pretty much have to watch for like 4 hours and you'll get them. There's some really cool streamers that are going to be competing in like a very special event for Twitch. These are the streamers. You got Asmongold, Summit1G, and a ton of people who make way more money than any of us playing games, which is awesome. More power to them. No hate for me. Like if I could do it, I would. Make sure you hit like and subscribe because maybe one day I'll be able to. Also, if you're one of those content creators that's trying, they've got a bounty board for content creators, and they actually give out cash if you manage to complete some of those bounties. I should probably check one of them out because maybe there's something about making a 69 joke in a video that gets at least 69 views, and or maybe they'll completely ban you from the whole system for saying 69 too many times. So let's talk about 420 likes, guys. Let's make it happen. Now, anyways, that's all I've got for today. I basically took a 1 hour 23 minutes video and condensed it into 10 minutes with a few jokes. Hope you liked it. Until next time, peace. Also, subscribe button. It works. Try it. And one final tip, if you have a significant other, family, friends, anything like that, go hang out with them. Have some good quality time with them. If a game, a content creator, anything like that takes away from that time, they're not worth it. And that's why I play the games after everybody's asleep, and I'm not super far along, so I do apologize for that, but at the same time, I don't. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, peace.